Good evening, welcome to Central News for Tuesday the 4th of February. I'm Hilary Entwistle. Tauranga Women's Refuge has a new program specifically for children who have witnessed domestic violence. Research into children who have witnessed or lived with domestic violence shows they have lower self-esteem and tend to be more aggressive and violent in later life. Children's advocate and program facilitator Amanda Gervin says the new program aims to break the cycle of abuse.
So the Tamariki Order program is an approved program by the Ministry of Justice. It's run over 12 sessions, including assessment sessions, and then 10 actual program sessions where we cover a range of topics from when a family fights to being assertive, managing anger. A lot of it's feelings based, so each week we discuss a different feeling and how that feeling looks and feels and how we can express it in a healthy way. The program is for 5 to 12-year-olds and is funded if a person has a protection order. So if anyone wants to contact us on our 0800 2 Refuge number and inquire about our programs, then they're more than welcome to.
100% Summer Without Substances is the message behind a month-long campaign aimed at youth in Tauranga. The 100% Summer Without Substances program in Welcome Bay, Maryvale, Brookfield, Mount Maunganui, Katikati and Te Puke are being run with the tagline, "Why waste your summer wasted when you can enjoy a fantastic summer?" Tauranga youth consultant and project organiser Bex Watts says the events are purely to encourage youth to be substance-free this summer, and so far hundreds have taken part.
Well, it's about enjoying summer in New Zealand as young people without the use of alcohol or substances, and with the ultimate aim of seeing injury prevention and reduction with our teens, really.
An average rate increase of 0.3% to existing ratepayers, a big boost to work to protect water quality and solid funding for biodiversity and flood control feature in Waikato Regional Council's 2014 to 15 draft budget has been signed off for public consultation. Chairperson Paula Southgate says the council has arrived at an excellent financial forecast given the size of the council's work program. The draft plan allows for an extra $2.2 million over each of the next 2 financial years on a collaborative process designed to ensure the most effective plan change possible to restore and protect the health of the Waikato and Waipa rivers. A staff report on the Healthy Rivers Waiora project, which will develop a regional plan change for the rivers, said funding of $1.9 million was projected for 2014 to 15 for this process in the 2012 to 2022 long-term plan. During budget talks, councillors were told that total direct costs would be $4.8 million, offset by council's savings elsewhere, meaning a net increase in council's costs for the project when compared to the level forecast in the LTP. Now for our region's weather, Hamilton, you will have fine spells, but mostly cloudy. Light winds and an expected high of 25 and an overnight low of 12. Tauranga, Wednesday is similar, fine, but mostly cloudy. Light winds and an expected high of 25 and an overnight low of 15. Just ahead, how to protect your animals from facial eczema. Welcome to Central News on TV Central. Warm, wet weather in Waikato has provided ideal growing conditions for facial eczema. Grant Fraser from Matamata Veterinary Services spoke with Anne-Marie about this damaging disease.
Grant, welcome to Central News. Tell me, what exactly is facial eczema?
Facial eczema is a disease that is caused by spores that is found from a fungus that lives in dead grass in the leaf litter. And it causes damage to the liver, and that causes damage to the skin.
What animals does it affect?
It affects sheep, cattle, deer, alpacas, llamas and goats.
And apart from skin damage, what other perhaps non-visible effects are there on an animal?
Yeah, so the obvious thing that most people see is the skin damage. Effectively, it's like extreme sunburn. Typically, people recognise lesions in sheep as being lesions around the eyes, drooping ears, and in cattle, it's more the white patches on the cows and the hairless parts, like the udder, where they get sunburn and they go red. The other parts of the animal that are affected, though, are the liver, because the liver is the organ that is filtering out these spores, and that's where the damage is initially happening. So that can have lots of ongoing effects. You can see animals.
That would affect production?
Yeah, definitely.
What about
production?
A cow and calf?
Production, it can definitely reduce your lambing rates, your calving rates. You can end up with dead animals. You can also end up with animals having really bad skin infections and various other effects from there. So, yeah.
As a child or even as a teenager, my job during the summer holidays was to go around and put zinc in the troughs. And I remember Dad drenching as well. Is this still a preventative measure, zinc?
Yeah, zinc is still one of the main preventative measures that we use, and it's still very effective.
So how do you give it?
Yeah, there are basically 4 broad ways that we can do it. We can put it in feed, we can drench, we can put it in water troughs, and we can also put it in boluses, which we put down the animal's throat. Each has its own merits and its own disadvantages, and I would suggest that anybody who is looking for these methods talks to their vet and have a serious discussion about it as well. There are also some other methods as well, like pasture spraying for fungicides, and also selecting breeds that are resistant, and also pastures and crops that are lower in facial eczema.
So a farmer at the moment should be looking to start some zinc preventive.
At the moment, yes, the current, we use spore counts to predict what's happening in the pasture and what's going on, and at the moment our suggestion would be you should be starting your preventative if you have not done so already.
Grant, thank you so much for coming in.
No worries.
The big names have been announced for the Tauranga Jazz Festival, and it is always a great success, bringing many tourists to the city for the Easter holidays. I caught up with the director to find out what we can expect this year. The historic village is always a popular one with the kiddies. What have you got planned there?
This year will be the 5th year that we've run the Jazz Village, so it's very exciting, and we have lots of new elements this year. We've got the House of Hammond, which is really exciting. Alan Brown, who's a Hammond organ player, is going to run a documentary, and he's going to host the House of Hammond stage for 2 days, and there's going to be lots of exciting new things happening there. We've got the usual kind of the big outdoor stage with loads of locals and national acts. That's going to be awesome, lots of dancing and having fun and drinking nice things on the grass, all that sort of stuff. We've got amazing food stalls, we've got the train for children that travels around the village, and lots of other children's rides. We've got the Easter Bunny and treasure hunts and all sorts of different things. But in terms of the music, the Jazz Village is more or less like you can just cruise around all the venues and listen to music of all different styles of jazz, and there's always something for everyone. That's why I think the Jazz Village is like my favourite part of the festival, because you can always find something that you really enjoy. So yeah, it's cool.
And the waterfront in downtown Tauranga always goes off in the Jazz Festival. What have you got planned for the main hub?
We have the Downtown Tauranga Carnival, so that's basically the whole of the Strand, Red Square, and then parts of Grey Street and Devonport Road. We close the road and we've got 6 stages this year. We've got 3 along the Strand and 1 in Red Square and on the waterfront as well. So, and again, we have like blues and funk and mainstream jazz and street bands that play Dixie. We have like all sorts of different music. So it's really just a chance for all the community to come together and just enjoy all the different bands that we've provided, really.
Have you got a couple of stressful months ahead? What's involved in organising the Jazz Festival in the last couple of months?
Lots of things kind of make the festival happen. I suppose like a main part of our job is to bring the community together, invite lots of different organisations to help us. We have the Vintage Car Club. They kind of get together and provide lots of brass and nickel cars for us, and that kind of is part of the Downtown Tauranga Carnival. We obviously have to get all the buyers involved and get them excited about the festival. We invite sponsors and funders to help stage everything. And then it's basically promotion, getting it out there and asking the whole community to support us by coming along, really.
To find out more about who is coming and where to get tickets, visit jazz.org.nz. Coming up next, Brendan Horan joins me in studio. Welcome back. Local Tauranga Independent MP Brendan Horan joins me in studio tonight. Welcome.
Oh, thank you very much. It's very nice to be here.
Now, it has been reported that there has been another complaint made to police regarding your mother's estate. Has the police been in contact with you?
No, you know, it's amazing because what happened was I gave a speech in Parliament on the Wednesday that was very damning and exposed some very nefarious deeds that one Winston Raymond Peters had been involved in. And next minute he got his acolytes in the press to come out with things, and it's there's no new complaints. It's the same old complainant. It's the same old tired journalist. It's the same old Winston and dirty tricks, and it's quite frankly on board with it. It's disgusting. Has no merit whatsoever. To give you an idea, my office is about 80 to 100 metres away from the police station. It's right on the corner, big pictures of me there. I was in my office all day, and if the police wanted to talk to me, they'd come over. But look, I'm going to turn this around on those clowns, because when I talk about those clowns, I'm talking about Winston Peters. And, you know, I've said all along to the journalists, check your sources. Now, one of those complainants, and I've tried to protect my family all the way through, even my brothers, but there comes a time when you have to draw a line in the sand, and that time is right now, and that's why I'm giving you an exclusive. If they had only checked their sources, they'd find out that one person believes he's been microchipped by aliens, has had 6 wives and shot by pirates, and a person behind him is one of New Zealand's biggest fraudsters, a convicted fraudster, and these are the type of people that Winston Raymond Peters is garnering information from. And it's about time it got out there, because I'm just sick of it.
Why do you think he has become so bitter? It's almost like a bitter sea, isn't it? You know, it keeps going.
Look, if he'd have just done what he was going to do from the start, I could have understood it, because basically people tried to blackmail me, and they were going to go to the media, this, that and the other thing, and it was false, and New Zealand First couldn't take that sort of pressure. Winston had goals that New Zealand First would be 10% in the polls in that particular year come Christmas. So he made a political decision, and I could have understood that. But then when he came after my family, my wife, my children, me, and kept on with something that he knows is false, then I can't take that. And now it's gotten to the point where he actually just doesn't want to be seen to be wrong. He's not man enough to apologise. And I'll let you into another secret. Before Christmas, when I was cleared, I contacted his right-hand man, and I said to him, look, just tell him to apologise. If he apologises, it'll be fine. I have no desire to go back to that party, but we can get on with the important things about trying to make New Zealand a better place to live. But no. Instead of apologising, he then went to the Serious Fraud Office and laid his own complaint, because he had lied earlier in the year where he said the Serious Fraud Office were involved. They were never involved. You know, so there's so many lies and illusions around this, and myself, my children, my wife, and my family, we're absolutely sick of it. They make out that it's a family against me. It is not. There were 11 of us named in the original will. There are 9 of us against 2 clowns. That's all been sorted, okay? Sorted out well before Christmas. But for a political aspect, Winston Peters wants to keep on going.
It must hurt to have your family's dirty laundry just aired in public.
Well, look, we didn't really have any dirty laundry, you know. I think every family has some members of their family that, you know, have sort of peculiarities, and we protect those family members throughout our lives. And they seem to be getting in the same old trouble all the way through their lives. And for myself and my sister, we've had to bail our brothers out all through their lives. And and this is just really, really sad, because the relationship that I and my sister had with my mum was a mutually loving and respectful relationship, and far more loving and respectful than the two siblings that have been clamouring for her money.
Did you feel like you've actually been able to grieve properly with all this?
Look, we, you know, it's been very, very difficult, and you know, they had an investigation. I was cleared, and that should be it. But you put a political spin on something, and you get a politician such as Mr. Peters, who's striving to regain a shred of credibility, and then you get this disgusting, nasty stuff that happened. But if you take a look at the speech that I gave on the 29th of January, it will give you some insights into what really happens with that party.
Thank you for joining us, Mr. Horan.
My pleasure.
Stay tuned, as up next we learn about the new movie being filmed in Te Puke. If you have just joined us, welcome to Central News. Housing affordability in Tauranga is one of the worst in the country, and this is not new information. At the beginning of 2012, there was a draft report into the affordability of housing in Tauranga, led by Smart Growth. I found out what issues were identified and some of the principles for that report.
Well, certainly there were a number contained in that. One was investigating opportunities and providing a framework that enables housing affordability projects to meet certain criteria, such as density, bulk and location, to proceed on a permitted or a controlled activity basis. So really trying to ease up and have a relatively streamlined process for approvals of affordable housing projects, undertaking a pilot project essentially to raise awareness throughout the community and within the various sectors in terms of matters that need to be had regard to in terms of housing affordability. Certainly advocating to central government and whether that involved tax incentives or other approaches to make housing more affordable. And really sharing the innovation in terms of undertaking affordable housing projects, what works, looking at initiatives that try and reduce the cost of materials and the inputs into affordable housing projects.
The report states some issues that could have led to the affordability with housing. What were some of those?
Over time, the increase in, for example, building materials, population growth and obviously demand for housing. There has been an expanding gap, particularly over the last 25 to 30 years, between income and what it costs to buy your first house. So a number of these trends have been around over, in my view, quite a period of time.
Another issue identified was housing supply and section size not reflective of the affordability profile in Tauranga. How do we go about changing that? I mean, what can Smart Growth do?
Well, certainly we, as part of some of the Smart Growth actions, looking at undertaking research in terms of the housing needs, what the nature of those needs are related to 1-2 bedroom dwellings and that type of thing, and particularly relating that to a changing demographic profile where over time there are a greater number of single or two-person families. So, and moving away from the family with 2 or 3 children. So those are some of the, and actually undertaking research into that matter and the timing and that type of thing.
We will bring you more on this later in the week. A feature film will be made in Te Puke. I found out if there is a role for you and why Te Puke.
Because Te Puke's our home. We live in Pukahina and we've born and raised our 2 small children here, and that's where our friends and community are. And because we're doing it as a community film, we really want it to be about everyone in our community that we live in and have fun with.
And there's also some wonderful locations all around Te Puke that the rest of the country and the world hasn't even seen yet, so it's wonderful to feature those in our film.
What are some of those cool locations?
Here where we are at the Old Forest Schoolhouse, or Newdix Beach, or the Matata Straits. Yeah, Number 4 Road behind the bridge on Number 4 Road behind Te Puke. There's just some beautiful gems that a lot of people haven't even seen or heard of.
And you've written the script yourself?
I've been writing the script for the last 5 years, and it was based on interviews with original protesters from the day, and I've also interviewed kind of pro-mining lawyers. I've done a lot of research in newspapers and old Lister articles and documentaries, and fashioned it all into an action comedy.
When are you hoping to start, and what kind of time frame are we looking at?
We are starting filming on February 19th. We're looking to shoot it over 4 weeks, 20 days. So it's relatively short for a feature film script to be put into action.
You are making a community resource film. What does that mean?
A community resource film means that we are looking to the community for all the resources. So we're going to individuals, businesses and organisations, and basically drawing together everybody's talents, skills, experience, knowledge, tractors, helicopters, houses, and just putting all of that towards making the film, but doing it with absolutely no budget.
What inspired you to make a film about the anti-mining movement?
It was just the funny stories I was told. They used to do things like half a dozen Santa Clauses would try and bust into government parties with mining waste to make a statement, or 12-year-old boys would kind of go up and let down miners' cars' tyres and stuff like that and eat their Shrewsbury biscuits. But any film really needs an antagonist and a protagonist, and in this film our antagonist is the mining company and our protagonist is the community.
And feature film, that's got to be expensive. How are you looking at budgeting for that?
We're looking to get help from the wider community. We have got a Boosted campaign, which is through the Arts Foundation, www.boosted.org.nz, and people from all around New Zealand can donate. We're looking to get $10,000 just to be able to help with food and transport and accommodation costs, and hoping that New Zealand will get behind us so that we can make this film.
The ZNail Gang is a community-funded project, and if you would like to help out in any way, you can make a donation on Boosted by visiting tinyurl.com/ZNailGang, and that's one word. That is Central News for this Tuesday. Email us on news@tvcentral.co.nz or like us on Facebook and let us know of anything exciting happening in your community. Join me again tomorrow night for more Central News. I'm Hilary Entwistle. Have a lovely evening.
This has been an Alpha Media production, a division of Television Media Group.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.